Let's talk about something small, a 9mm bullet. It's a tiny object, easily fitting in the palm of your hand, but it holds a world of engineering, history, and purpose within its brass shell. This little cartridge is the result of decades of innovation and refinement, and it's more complex than it first appears. You've seen them everywhere, on TV and movies, maybe even at a shooting range. But have you ever stopped to wonder how they're actually made? What goes into creating something so small yet so precise and reliable? It's not magic, it's a blend of brute force and delicate precision, where heavy machinery meets the careful touch of skilled hands. Every step is a dance between power and accuracy. Today we're pulling back the curtain on ammunition manufacturing. We'll step inside the factories where science, technology, and human expertise come together to create millions of rounds every day. We'll follow a single round from its earliest form, raw brass and lead, through every stage of its transformation, until it becomes a finished product ready for use. This isn't about politics, just process. We're here to appreciate the craftsmanship and technology behind each bullet, not to debate its use. On the factory floor, lead, brass, and powder are transformed into a tool that must work perfectly every single time. There's no room for error. Lives and reputations depend on flawless performance. The challenge? To make millions of identical, flawless objects, each one held to the strictest standards. Consistency is everything in this world. We'll see massive machines stamping metal with thunderous force, shaping raw materials into precise components in seconds. And then, the tiniest parts are assembled with the care of a watchmaker. Each primer, each grain of powder, placed with meticulous attention. This is a modern marvel of efficiency and safety, not a dusty old workshop. Today's ammunition factories are bright, clean, and filled with advanced technology. Every step is checked, every measurement matters. Quality control is relentless. Inspectors use lasers, calipers, and computers to ensure perfection. From the loading dock to the shipping box, it's a non-stop ballet of production, with people and machines working in perfect harmony to keep the process moving. The journey of the bullet has evolved over centuries, from hand-cast lead balls to today's high-tech assembly lines. Each step forward has been driven by the need for greater reliability and safety. Let's break it down piece by piece and see the work behind that little brass and lead package. There's a story in every round, and it's one of ingenuity, precision, and relentless pursuit of perfection. The story of a bullet starts now. Let's dive in and discover how a simple idea becomes a powerful reality. Every bullet begins its journey at the receiving dock, where the lifeblood of ammunition, raw materials, arrives from all over the world. This is the first step in a long, meticulous process that ensures every round is reliable and safe. Huge spools of brass, heavy lead ingots, sealed drums of gunpowder, and delicate trays of primers are carefully unloaded. Each shipment represents the potential for thousands of rounds, but only if it meets the highest standards. Inspectors in protective gear check everything. Brass for the perfect copper-zinc mix, lead for purity, powder for moisture and grain size, and primers for even the smallest defects. Their eyes and instruments are the first line of defense against failure. Brass is sampled and measured with precision tools. If it's too brittle, it could crack under pressure. If it's too soft, it won't hold its shape. Only the best makes the cut. Lead ingots are weighed and tested for impurities. Even a trace of contamination can compromise the bullet's performance, so every batch is scrutinized. Gunpowder's burn rate is checked in specialized labs. Too fast, and the round becomes dangerous. Too slow, and it loses power. Consistency is everything. Primers, the tiny but critical ignition source, are inspected under magnification for any flaw. A single imperfection can mean the difference between a successful shot and a misfire. Every component must pass strict quality checks with multiple layers of inspection at every stage. This relentless attention to detail is what keeps shooters safe. A single flaw can ruin thousands of rounds, so anything less than perfect is immediately rejected and discarded. There's no room for compromise. Documentation and tracking are constant. Every batch is logged, every test result recorded, creating a traceable history for each shipment of materials. Trust but verify is the rule here. Even trusted suppliers are double-checked, and every worker knows that vigilance is non-negotiable. The most sensitive materials, powder and primers, get extra scrutiny. They're handled with care and stored securely because even a small mistake can have big consequences. A faulty primer means a dead round, and in the field, that could be the difference between success and failure. That's why every primer is checked, one by one. Only after passing these rigorous tests do materials move to the next stage of production. The journey from raw material to finished bullet is just beginning. Quality starts at the door, with every shipment and every worker held to the highest standards from the moment they arrive. In ammunition manufacturing, the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. That's why the foundation of firepower is built on uncompromising quality, right from the start. The journey of every bullet begins with a humble yet essential element, lead. Before anything else can happen, the raw lead must pass a rigorous inspection to ensure it's free from impurities and ready for transformation. Only the purest lead makes the cut, because even the smallest contaminant can compromise the final product's performance. Once approved, the lead is loaded into a massive industrial furnace, where temperatures soar high enough to turn solid metal into a glowing molten pool. Inside the factory, workers don heavy protective gear to shield themselves from the intense heat and potential hazards. As the lead ingots melt, the air shimmers with energy, and the once solid metal becomes a silvery liquid mass ready for the next stage. The molten lead is then forced through powerful extrusion machines, emerging as long uniform wires. Imagine a giant pasta maker, but instead of dough, it's shaping streams of hot, heavy metal. This process is crucial for creating the consistent material needed for precise bullet cores. Consistency is everything here. Any variation in the wire's thickness or composition can throw off the weight and balance of the finished bullet, affecting its accuracy downrange. That's why every inch of wire is closely monitored. Next, automated machines chop the lead wire into perfectly measured segments. Each piece is destined to become the core of a bullet, and precision at this stage sets the foundation for everything that follows. Every segment is weighed on high-precision scales. Even the tiniest difference, a fraction of a gram, can impact the bullet's flight and effectiveness, so nothing is left to chance. The lead cylinders are then tumbled to remove any rough edges, ensuring a smooth surface. After tumbling, they're fed into a swagging press, where immense pressure shapes them into their final uniform form. The swagging press compacts the lead, squeezing out any air pockets and guaranteeing a dense, solid core. This step is vital for both safety and performance. Unlike the earlier melting process, this stage relies on pure mechanical force, no heat, just pressure, to mold the lead into perfect bullet cores. The result is a tray of perfectly formed, perfectly weighted lead cores, each one identical to the next. Uniformity here means reliability later. At every step, technicians double-check measurements and weights, maintaining strict quality control to ensure nothing slips through the cracks. Even a single gram out of place can make the difference between a perfect shot and a missed target. With the lead cores complete, they're now ready to meet their brass casings, the next step in the journey from raw material to finished ammunition. From raw lead to precision-engineered bullet core, every stage is about control, accuracy, and attention to detail. Next, we turn our focus to the brass, where another transformation awaits. While lead cores are shaped, brass wire is transformed into casings. The wire is cut and punched into shallow cups by powerful machines. These cups are drawn out, stretched thinner and longer through a series of dies. Annealing, heating and cooling, keeps the brass from becoming brittle. The casing gets a head, rim, and primer pocket in one powerful punch. The head stamp is added, marking manufacturer and caliber. Precision is everything. Dimensions must be perfect. Casings are trimmed, washed, and polished until they gleam. Too wide or narrow and they're rejected. The result, a flawless brass casing ready for assembly. From dull wire to shining shell, it's all about engineering. Now it's time to add the spark. The primer is the ignition switch, a tiny cup of explosive compound. Casings are lined up, primers are aligned, and a machine seats each primer with perfect pressure. Too much force, and it could detonate. Too little, and it won't fire. Safety is paramount. Priming stations are reinforced. Operators wear extra protection. Machines feed primers in small batches to minimize risk. The process is quiet, focused, and precise. Each casing is inspected by camera or probe for primer presence and depth. Any error, too high, too deep, or misaligned, and the casing is rejected. There's no margin for error. The primer must be perfect for the round to function. Even the smallest part is critical. This step is all about reliability. Only flawless primed casings move forward. The spark is set. Next comes the power. Now, the main event, assembly. Primed casings move to the powder filling station, where machines dispense exact charges of smokeless powder. Consistency here is key for safety and accuracy. Sensors and scales check every charge, mistakes are instantly removed. With powder in place, the bullet core is placed on the casing. Alignment must be perfect for accuracy. The bullet is seated to a precise depth, then the casing is crimped to hold it tight. This seals the powder and secures the bullet. In one swift motion, all components become a finished round. Every step is automated, checked, and rechecked. The result, a 9mm bullet, ready for inspection. Assembly is where precision meets speed, but the job isn't done yet. Assembly isn't the end. Quality control is relentless. Every round is inspected by machines using lasers and cameras. They check length, diameter, and for any imperfection. Even a tiny flaw in the round is rejected instantly. Automated systems compare each round to a digital model. But machines aren't enough. Humans double-check samples. Technicians measure, weigh, and even pull rounds apart to verify consistency. The ultimate test: firing rounds in a soundproof range. Velocity, pressure, and accuracy are measured. Only rounds that pass every test move on. Quality is non-negotiable. The standard is perfection. Every round must work, every time. Only after passing these tests is ammo cleared for packaging. The gauntlet of inspection never ends. After passing inspection, rounds head to packaging. Machines orient and count each bullet, dropping them into trays in neat rows. Trays are boxed, sealed, and labeled with all the vital info. Presentation matters. Boxes must be clean and professional. 10 boxes are shrink-wrapped into a brick, then packed into larger cases. Each case is labeled for tracking and accountability. If there's ever a problem, the batch can be traced. The process is fast, efficient, and precise. Pallets are stacked, ready for shipping. Packaging is the final layer of quality. The journey is almost complete. Our journey ends as pallets of finished ammo leave the factory. What began as raw lead and brass is now a product of engineering and precision. Forklifts load trucks and the rounds head to stores and ranges. It's easy to overlook a bullet's story, but every step matters. Perfection is the standard. Failure isn't an option. The people behind the process are skilled, dedicated, and unsung. They work in tough conditions to deliver reliability. Every box on a shelf represents hours of labor and inspection. Next time you see a bullet, remember the journey. From molten metal to finished round, it's a story of craft and care. A simple product, born from a complex process. And that's something to respect.